We live, baby.
Welcome, welcome, welcome,
Hi.
everybody, to the
Hi.
Q to the A. It's the Q&A with Phil and Will, and Sam is
Phil
not
and
here
Will.
today. Oh, there's my
Hmm.
YouTube video playing. How's it going, Will?
I'm good. I was trying to find your YouTube thing so I could see it on YouTube as
Okay,
well.
do you
But
have it? It's
I
on
think I found it.
Photography and Friends. Just go to the community, click live sessions. Let me get
I
my
found it.
chat screen up so I can see who's here. Let us know if you are in here live. And where are you tuning in
Calvary.
from?
Where are you, Phil?
I'm in LA. I was in San Francisco this weekend, meeting up with some Udemy folks and teachers, and that was all fun stuff. And yeah, but back in LA and at home.
Welcome back.
Very is in the house. What's up, Very? Are you in Bern? Right? Not Basel. Bern? Is that the right one?
Yeah.
Um, how's your week been, Will?
It's been
Busy
good.
teaching?
Busy teaching. Lots of classes. I had a class this morning. I had a class
Mm-hmm.
yesterday morning. I have a class
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow morning.
Man.
You know what I did last past weekend, Phil? I don't know if we talked about this, but I shot a wedding.
You mentioned that. I think last time we were here, you said you had a wedding coming up. So I'm curious, how did
Yeah.
that go?
It was good. It was, the last wedding I shot was as like a full blown photographer. I guess I shot like a sunrise wedding this summer, which
Uh-huh.
is pretty cool. I'll have to share those images with you at some point. But I hadn't done like a full blown wedding in like a couple years, to be honest, by myself. And so I
Mm-hmm.
just had a 7 hour extravaganza in good old Palm Springs, California.
Oh,
Pretty
Palm
fun.
Springs. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What was
So
the
I started going
venue?
to the It was like an outdoor venue. It was so random. It was kind of like, I don't know, almost like a palm tree farm. It was pretty. It was
Cool.
cool. But boy, was it warm.
Oh man, yeah, this weekend was warm everywhere here.
Yeah. So
Well, that's cool. I mean, did you feel like you were rusty, or were you able to just jump right in and
I felt like I was a little rusty, but I've done it so many times now that the playlist and the shot list is in the back of my head. And so
yeah.
I just kind of like rolled through right at that point and just like did all the things. And it was cool. It was like very fun. Luckily, honestly, the couple didn't really want a photographer there in the first place, and I
Mm-hmm.
think they sort of had to be talked into it a couple weeks
It's kind of
ago.
like one of those
And then
last minute. Yeah, you
yeah,
need a photographer.
and then again, it's like one of those friends that I have is that isn't a close friend, so I wasn't like close enough to be invited to the wedding, but I'd be
Yeah,
close enough to help shoot the wedding, and like I knew
yeah.
a bunch of people there, so that was super fun.
That tends to happen when you know how to take photos and you have friends that are getting married.
Sure does.
Friends on that periphery of not
Which is
getting
fine.
invited.
Because even my closer friends, like I actually enjoy shooting their wedding more than being a guest, because then I can get to hang out with them all day and have
Yeah,
part of, and I
yeah,
have something to do.
yeah. As you
And
did
I'm
at my
getting paid.
wedding. Yeah. Cool. Well, I see a lot of people chiming in, a couple new faces that and names
Yeah, what's
that
up?
I don't recognize. So welcome. I see Michelle here, first time. Neil, Richard. Uh, if you're tuning in, let us know if you found this through the Photography and Friends community or if it was through our Udemy announcement, and let us know what course you're in. But basically, the way we're going to run this is we're just open to any sort of questions that you may have. So you can put those in the chat. We had a couple questions that were posted earlier in the Photography and Friends community on the page. So that's always good. If you're watching the replay and you can't make it live because I know this time isn't good for everyone, um, go over to the Photography and Friends community. Go to the live sessions and replay space, which I'll pop in the chat right now, and go to the next Q&A and post your comments or questions underneath or on that post, and we'll be back in a couple weeks with another Q&A, and Sam should be here.
Yeah. If you're here
So
for Sam,
yeah,
he's not here.
hopefully he'll be here next time. He's traveling somewhere today. Um, I wanted to talk with you, Will, while we are answering questions, more about your experience over the summer where you were the basically a wrangler on a dude ranch up in the Sierras, eastern
Eastern Sierra.
Sierras of
Yeah.
California. But you were also the photographer. And we mentioned this last time, but just a quick recap. Like, what does that mean, or what are you doing there? What types of photos are you doing there? And then we can dive more into like your
Yeah.
process later. But just what's a general overview for someone's
Especially
like, what does
people
that mean?
people are interested in that. So basically, there was this ranch so they worked at, and it's a dude ranch, right? Where dudes or like guests come in and they come for a week and they get to learn how to ride a horse, or they get to continue learning, or whatever. They get a horse for a week and they get a
Mm-hmm.
cabin and 3 meals a day. And we go on rides in the morning and in the afternoon, and we practice trailer loading at one point. We go loping, or like basically a slow gallop out in the fields. And all while doing that, you got me over here as a wrangler helping them, get saddled and get going, and giving tips. But then I'm out there riding and taking photos of them while they're out riding. So there's like kind of three pillars to this, which is like always how I spend my life, right? There's pillars of everything that like support each other in all the things that you do. There was the action photography that I would do while we were out riding. There was private family photo sessions and portraits that we'd set up. And then I was selling prints. The prints didn't do so well, which we can talk about at some point. But then basically, like every week, guests could go online and there's a full gallery of all the photos I've taken all week. It's kind of like when you go to an event, or like let's take like a marathon, for example, and there's a photographer there taking photos of freaking everybody.
Yeah.
And then you just got to go to this website and look up and find the photo of you, and then purchase the download or purchase the print. That's sort of what I was doing on the action photo side. Or like, you go on a cruise and there's a photographer. I don't want to like whittle it down to that, but that is like sort of what it is. It's just a little bit more intimate, because being able to be on horseback and take photos is like a very specific job. So,
Yeah.
which is super fun. But what comes with all that is like the equipment and the settings and how to accomplish that from a technical standpoint, obviously having to have an eye at a certain point. And then on top of that, like the business and the delivery of both files and prints, and how much that costs, and how do you deliver, and how do you deal with websites and files and editing. And there's a lot that I learned that I already knew, but like to implement it into like mass photography is pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of reminds me, like you said, like it's a marathon, or just like any, sort of, you had to create a system that could be maybe more transferable to if you were jumping into, I don't know, school photography, or sports team photography, where like these photographers have a full system where they come, take pictures of everyone. Everyone gets a QR code or whatever it is to log onto the site, pick and choose the photos that they want to download, and they come in different packages. So yeah, that's a really cool skill set that we haven't really like. That's like a whole side of photography we haven't.
No.
It's not what we do really, so we haven't like tried to even teach that. But I'm curious if people are interested in how those types of businesses get started.
It's not what I do, but there's a lot of correlation between like that. And we had a question last week in a discussion about like taking photos of your kids at like a soccer game, and then other adults and parents are like, oh, can you take pictures of my kid, or like whatever. Like, I think there's correlation there. I think because I've shot so many weddings, I knew the delivery system, right? The basically, I don't know, what do you call that? There's like a whole word for that I'm blanking on that I know, but like the ability to take the photo, and then how do you deliver the photos towards the end. And like as a wedding photographer or a portrait photographer, or getting paid to do any sort of photography, we always want to talk about how you're going to be giving the photos to your clients, or family and friends, right? If you're just doing it's all kind of the same, and that's just like a bigger scale. So it's good to hear and know. But I would love, like, if anyone had any questions on that. It's often that like when you first are getting into photography that you're not going to be tackling something this large. But if you are thinking about a career in it, it's definitely like a path to consider. I think on the other end, look at that. That's the place, right? And Sam and I made that video for them a while ago, or like a year ago. If you want to like really dive into it before we get any like questions, if you go to my website at williamcarnahan.com, you can see the structure. of the photo delivery, and I made it easy because right on the front page, you'll get Honeywell guest photos right there on the left. See that button?
Oh yeah, yeah. So it
And
made it
so then
easy
at
for
that
people.
point, yeah, at that point, is my website slow or is your internet slow?
No, it's probably my internet because I'm
Oh, because we're streaming.
streaming and everything. So yeah. Here's
Yeah.
Will's website though.
Oh, the blog I got to get back to. And you can look at my website. Gosh, it's good that it's working.
Oh, yeah, okay. This is probably going to
Yeah,
the
it's just
same
slow.
thing.
Anyway, yeah, you could get there, but same thing. It's like it's right. It's like the foundations of that, and then all those photos that are on their website between Sam and I, because Sam comes up for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We then use those photos for their website, so they like that too.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
Also, I
very
learned how to be
cool.
a wrangler, so there's that.
Yeah, no, that I mean, I think that was like you gotta. Well, maybe it is not my website. You gotta check that. Make sure people can access
What
the Zenfolio.
the
Um,
Zenfolia might be? No,
but
mine popped right up.
yeah, we're gonna talk more about that because I think it's super helpful and
Yeah,
interesting. But if anyone has questions about anything, just feel free to start popping them into the chat. I know there's people brand new here. I see a couple people from Newfoundland,
Newfoundland.
and
That's random.
yeah, like people who I haven't seen before. So if you have any dying questions that you want to ask us,
Dude,
now's the time. Your
speaking of
website
which,
popped up, by the
oh,
way.
there we go. So
Yeah.
you can pick the year that on there 2020 yeah, see those are each week that people are there. So then
Yeah,
you'd click
I
on the
see.
week and then you'd get to see all the photos from that week. And I
Oh,
put
cool.
copyrights on most of them because, we don't want people to that one doesn't have a copyright because we were shooting social media that week. And I gave
Okay.
it to them for free. But all the other ones have copyright watermarks on them, which is another discussion. And I finally broke down and was like, gotta use them. Because
Well,
that
for this is like, yeah, you got
yeah,
to use it because otherwise people are just gonna download it or
they're just
screenshot it
screenshot
and not.
and work them. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
beautiful spot to take photos. Like one of the better. It's hard to take a bad photo in any direction.
yeah.
There's something I was gonna say really quick, and now I forgot. Oh, I was gonna tell you that between my cinematography class, my photo class, my electronic media class, and then now my intro to video production class, I have nailed how to teach the exposure triangle. I have a whole slideshow and I know we did it really well in our Udemy class if you guys are taking it or our beginning photography course or even our podcast if you've listened to it.
Yeah,
But now
yeah,
I have this whole like script of like ISO is sensitivity and all these things, but you get grain, right?
yeah.
Aperture is like letting light in and stuff, but more things are less in focus. So it's
Well,
pretty
that's
fun.
gonna come in handy when we completely redo the whole photography masterclass,
Can't wait.
right?
Yeah.
Which we keep talking about wanting to do that at some point. Welcome, Steven from the Bay Area. Welcome. Couple
Bay
people from the
Area.
real
What
estate
up?
photography course. That's cool. Nice. So I guess my question about that is, how did you even get that job in the first place?
Yeah, I mean that's a good one. Being a guest there for a long time, my family would go there every summer about, and then
Mhm.
I'd say 5 years ago, just before COVID, Sam and I actually pitched that
Mm.
if they let us come for free for a week, we would do a bunch of social media posts for them. And so
Mm.
we went
Mhm.
and stayed there for a week and did video and photo and did 52 posts with captions for them so
Mhm.
that they didn't have to think about posting something all year, right? They had one post for every week if they needed it. And so that's
Mm.
like a really good way to get in with somebody nowadays, right? Is like, my photography's great. Let me just do 52 posts for you for a year, pay me whatever, or trade work. And that got us in the door. And then we did that for 4 years.
Mhm.
And then last year, when we went, they had not had a photographer for a few years.
Mhm.
And so just in passing, I was like, man, that sounds like a cool job. The head wrangler came and was like, we can teach you how to wrangle. You should come stay here all summer. And I was like, okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that's just one of those building a relationship over
Building
time
for
and
time.
putting yourself out there, kind of. That seems to be the oldest trick in the book that actually works. Um, got a couple questions popping in
Let's
though.
go.
Karen asks, should I try to clean the sensor on my
Oh,
mirrorless camera or have it cleaned professionally?
oh,
I don't know. We might have different opinions. It's like one of those things. Of course, like I think the right answer is to say, "Oh, have it cleaned professionally." But I have
yeah,
bought the
that is the
little.
right answer.
I have bought the, but I have to practice what I preach, and I don't, and so I have bought the little, sensor wipes thing where you put it
Have you
on
used it?
there and you use the little wiper thing, and um it has helped. I mean, I haven't paid attention to if that technology has improved much over the 5+ years that mirrorless cameras have really been out.
Yeah.
Do you still send yours in to get
How
cleaned,
did you remember that? Yeah.
or do you just have like a dirty sensor like I do?
Okay. So up until like 2 years ago, I would take my camera to Sammy's Camera in LA, or I take it to Paul's Photo in Torrance, California, and I would have somebody professionally clean it.
Yeah.
The guy that used to do that unfortunately passed away in Torrance, and I
Mm.
have not been to Sammy's in forever. And I bought the do-it-yourself kit. I have bought 2 of them now in the last year, and I have not done it because I'm terrified. Like, I'm sure I can do it and it'll be fine, but yes, on my main camera, my SL2S, it's pretty dirty.
Yeah.
But you can't tell
Yeah.
unless you can't really tell as long as you're shooting a wide open aperture, which I'd say 80% of the time, 90% of the time I am.
Yeah.
That being said, like, I need to clean it. And
Yeah.
and
No,
I
me
think if
too. I have one spot, and I think it's after I clean it, so I don't know if it's like a little scratch or something because it didn't come off when I tried to clean it years ago at this point now. But yeah, there's one spot in the bottom left of my frame that if I'm shooting something that's like a blank sky or
yeah,
blank or
it'll show up for sure.
higher f-stop, then I see it. And like is mentioned though in the chat from Michelle, that you can pretty much easily remove those things. Ideally, if it's not right in the center or right where your subjects typically are, like mine is bottom left, and yeah, I just use that heal tool to quickly remove that in Lightroom.
Yeah, but if you're editing 200 photos from a wedding,
Yeah,
that's not freaking fun.
yeah, yeah.
It
You
takes time.
can. I think with the heal tool, you can copy and paste that.
You can,
edit,
but if you're
but
going
you,
vertical or horizontal,
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
sketchy. Just
No, yeah. It's
clean your
not.
sensor, Phil.
Yeah, I'm just gonna buy a
Same.
new camera.
Yeah, there's that too. Okay, that sounds like a Sam answer.
Another good question Leo asked that I don't have a good answer to, unfortunately, is have you edited using Luminar Neo? I have not, but I've been curious because I just saw a video. I mean, it's been out for a long time now, but I saw one of the photographers I follow on YouTube, Evan Ramft, who did a video about like the best editing app that he likes that's not a subscription. So I am curious. I should play around with it. Have you played around with it at all?
I've never even heard of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm so dialed in on using
Yeah.
Lightroom for everything that I don't even consider. I mean, maybe sometimes I even have Lightroom on my phone.
Yeah. Correct
so-
me if I'm wrong in the chat, but I feel like Luminar Neo was one of these AI photo editing apps that like specialized in like super enhancing and noise removal, but then it kind of expanded into a full-blown photo editing app now. But I know a
That's
lot of
cool.
people use it, so we got a question from Very in the house. Very also has some questions
Hi, Very.
she posted in the forum as well. But the question is, I often use spot, center weighted, and multi photometry modes, but I never find any use of the average mode. When should I use it? This is for exposure, right?
I often use spot, center, weighted, and multi. It depends on what you're doing. I feel like for what you do, from my limited knowledge of your art and stuff, I feel like average would kind of kill your contrast and your creativity. average really does average it out, and I tend to use either average or what's the I forgot the mode on my camera, but it's like geared towards highlight saving. So like
Mm.
it'll take whatever the highlights are and make sure the exposure is saving the highlights. Um, yeah, I mean, general average would just I think would be more of a like if you're doing like party photos and you just want it to all look the same, or you're doing like corporate headshots, or like anything where like really like the whole scene needs to be average, right? It needs to all be within the right exposure. That being said, like I don't think that there's a lot of like contrast and like I don't know art. Would you say? I guess in it, there's not a lot of like. Hmm,
Yeah, I don't
I'm
know
having
what,
a poor
and
word
then
choice.
and Very takes a lot of photos at night with bright lights and highlights and a lot of darks and shadows, and so I imagine that the other modes are better for you, especially like a spot mode where your camera is exposing to the spot that you are focusing on, your focus spot point, and it's not adjusting for the whole you're taking a photo at night, so we're gonna raise the exposure of everything, where you might want like those lights to be not as overexposed or whatever. So
Yeah, I mean, it's in the when you think about this stuff, it's like in the word, right? So when you're curious about like really like think about it, right? When you say use spot metering or your spot photometry, it's literally you pick a spot and you meter to that. When it's center weighted, it takes the whole scene and the averages out the center part as if you're putting like a vignette, right? Same
mhm,
thing, average mode, it's going to take an average of the entire shot, right? And measure
mhm,
that. So in thinking about that, do you want a lot of contrast in your photo? Do you want there to be like a really bright and really dark? Like our most of our video cameras for our zooms or whatever, like these are pretty average, right? My entire scene is mostly metered out except for the bright windows, right? But if I was trying spot on the windows, I would be
mhm,
super dark, right? Or if
mhm.
it was spot on me, it would be so like you just have to decide if you want it to be like contrast or you want it to have like a mood or say something, which is typically varies style,
Yeah,
vary style. So yeah, I would stick away from average, unless it's just more of a corporate thing.
yeah. Another question about another app that I have not used. We are the worst when it comes to like the
DxO, the heck
latest
is DxO?
technology in photography. I would say our specialty is like, and we always preach this, is like using the tools that you have to take great photos. And so I have not even heard of DxO either. It sounds like other people use it and like it though. Will says DxO is very, very good in
Ah,
their opinion. Um,
again, it's like what you have, you can make use of, and like just judging from the DxO website, like it looks pretty solid. It does look like they're totally ripping off the color and logo font of Adobe, but
yeah,
that's
yeah,
fine.
it looks like a Photoshop
But
logo.
if it's cheaper and it works for you, I mean, honestly, like the photo editing ability on your phone, on straight in photos on your iPhone and Android and Google work pretty well.
Yeah,
It's about your own workflow and how you function and what you're willing to use with your system. I think they're
yeah.
all good.
I will say that I should probably, since we do teach this stuff and claim to be experts in some sense, I should
Claim.
probably do a little extra effort in like testing out these new editing softwares, because I think for a long time Lightroom was like the go-to because it had the organizational capabilities, which just made sense for if you're doing a wedding shoot, if you're doing a real estate photography shoot, and you're doing lots of these big shoots and having to edit and organize a bunch of photos. But and these other apps didn't work as well for that. But I think there probably are a lot of other great options now for that. So yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
Imran asked, how often do you guys update the camera and lens firmware? I mean,
Ooh.
that's a great question. For me, it's whenever I get a notification that there's an update. I shoot on Fujifilm, so it's not that often that it happens. But I'm curious, Imran, what you're shooting on. I don't know. get those notifications? Like, what's your process for updating? Because I know for me, what happens is when I'm using the app on my phone to transfer photos from my camera to
Yes.
my phone, I'll get the notification that says, oh, there's an update. Do you want to update via the
Yeah.
Wi-Fi that I have on my app? But that's, yeah, so I just do it when it notifies me, but
Yeah.
it's not something I'm like checking to see if it's like,
It's the same. I'm not keeping myself updated on stuff unless like I frequent like forums and websites for the cameras that I own, which just sounds like me being a Leica bro. But like they'll basically post when like you'll see it in forums and people commenting like, oh, there's a new update, there's a new update, there's a new. I was like, okay, well I'll go check it out and do it.
yeah.
But like Phil says, I don't seek it out and I don't need to as long as everything's working. That's on the photo end, right? If we talk about video side, Sam and I shoot on a lot of Sonys, so we shoot on the FX6 and the FX3. Me on the FX3 a lot. When
Yeah.
that camera first came out, I'd say every 6 months they were putting out a firmware update that like made it aggressively better, like better
Mm-hmm.
menus, better like way of describing. So it's like if you have a newer camera, keeping an eye on that makes a lot of sense. Otherwise, like yeah, and the lenses I barely update, but they
Yeah.
exist, and that's a real thing. So definitely something to keep your eye on.
I feel like that's usually when maybe you're upgrading like your camera body, or they've upgraded camera
Sure.
body and maybe the sensor's like a slightly different size or something, and they're updating the lens to be able to be capable with the new body or whatever. I think if you're
But
using the apps though, usually it's going to notify you.
yeah, my Leica app will update me, and every time I transfer a photo over, which for me it's like at least once a week,
Mhm.
uh, I'll see that like, oh, your cameras have an update. And again, you
Yeah.
could do it through the phone or through the
Will, in the comments, I'm curious about what camera you
comment
have
row.
as a Nikon user, loving their updates, and you have a little bird in your icon. So I'm very curious about
Oh my
that.
God. You just hit
Um,
all of Phil's tickle spots right now. He's into
yeah.
bird photography and he wants a new camera, and I can tell he's leaning towards Nikon. So please, what about you, dude? We're talking about me. Where do we have another question? Like, where are you at with your new camera hunt? And like, do you guys have any advice for Phil on what camera system he should get? In fact, in the comments below, can you tell us what camera system you're using? It sounds like we got a lot of Nikons and Canons.
Yeah. I mean,
You're welcome.
we were joking about calling this Q&A, live Q&A, just camera therapy. So we can just talk about, all of our problems and try to figure them out here. Um, I mean, we haven't really talked about it, so I guess I'll just talk about it.
Please tell
Fine.
me your
I'll
thoughts,
be
and
I'll
Phil.
be
How are you feeling?
honest.
Do you want to
I'll
lay
open up.
down on the couch? We could tilt the camera
Yeah.
towards that.
Okay. Okay. I'm already getting comments that are intriguing. Very safe. Try the
Hey, look at this. Look at this. Here
X25
they go. Let's
game-changing
go.
systems.
God, I wish
Yeah.
Dan was
No,
here.
I think I need to try. So here's where I'm at. I still have the
Scary.
Fujifilm X-T4. I got it. Now
Uh-huh.
it's like 5 years old. 5 years
Uh-huh.
ago. So it's been
I
a
need to take
long
notes.
time.
Hold on. Okay.
That is a pretty long time for a camera body. We've always talked about like, and we've had this discussion before, like when do you update your cameras versus your lenses? And you have always said is like, when is it your camera holding you back?
Mm-hmm.
And I think for you left Fuji because you were photographing some weddings where the
Oh, you remember that?
Fuji at the time, what, XT1 and XT2 just
Is it
weren't.
XT2? Yeah.
XT2, yeah, it just was not
No,
keeping
3.
up with. Yeah, 3. It
Yeah.
wasn't keeping up with like the amount of work that you had to do, the amount of photos, the focus, and things. And so here I am with the Fuji X-T4. I had purchased the 100 to 400, which is one of, if not the, I think there's one more better, like higher quality prime telephoto lens, but probably like one of the best lenses in the Fujifilm setup to do wildlife photography. And I am starting to get into bird photography, and I'm just constantly finding myself taking photos that like have way more grain and aren't as sharp as I want them to be. It's the sharpness that's the issue
Oh,
because
oh, that's the issue.
it's not necessarily the focus. The focusing is partially an issue, and I think, like Very says, the XT5
I'm
has a
listening.
new specific bird autofocus setting. And I think this is where, like, updating firmware, it's a good thing to pay attention to, because sometimes they add things like, oh, now you have like bird eye detection or
Yeah.
whatever, and it can do better focusing. Um, but it's partially the focusing I know is an issue, because I know, like, sometimes I'm taking a picture and there's like some branches in the foreground and the bird's like right behind these leaves, and it's focusing on the leaves, not the bird. And part of me wonders, if I had a camera that had like bird auto detection, would it detect the shape of the bird and focus on that, right?
Yep.
And so there's that issue, but then it's also just the quality of the image, where I'm pushing the limits. I'm on the 400, but I'm also on I have a teleconverter, 1.4 times teleconverter. So it's almost like a 600 millimeter lens. And on a crop sensor. So it's pretty tight. I get pretty good distance, but still I feel like the sharpness, like the texture and the details I get, aren't amazing. And so, yeah, I wonder, like, if I bump up to the XT5, the sensor is a little bit bigger. They packed in a bigger sensor, 40 megapixels versus 26 in the same crop sensor format. I could use the same lenses, see how that goes, which is probably a smart thing to just try it. But then the honest truth is, like, if you look at anyone that's shooting wildlife photography, they're not shooting Fujifilm.
Don't look at other people, Phil.
I know, no, like, here's the thing. I know I can take good pictures of birds and wildlife with my camera and my setup currently.
This whole bird situation is so good. Uh-huh.
But, like, if I want to really, like, hone my craft and invest in something for, like, the next 5 to 10 years, does it make sense to get a new Fujifilm? Here's the thing. Maybe I'll just get the Fuji X-T5, because I still love my Fujifilm. I love my other lenses for travel, for portraits, for all that. I love the colors, for all kinds of other things. And then I get the Nikon too. Is that the answer, therapist Phil?
It feels like the answer. Okay, so here's the thing that the two important things with buying gear to me are, one, that Sam never listens to. One is, again, yeah, don't buy something unless you really feel like it's holding you back from what you want to do artistically or in business, right? So, like, what you have is, like, working for you, except it has run into this newfound hobby of, you've gone full dad and you are now shooting birds.
Full millennial dad, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, so that's holding you back. Like, two, and I think it's fun to be said, you've invested how much in all your Fuji lenses and glass and stuff like that. And
a lot.
I can tell you the story, right? I had a XT3, an XT2, and an XT1, and I had the trinity of lenses plus primes, and I sold all of them except for my XT2 and 1. I kept those as nostalgia, but I sold the body and, like, all the other lenses of the XT3, and I was able to buy one body and one lens in the Leica world, right? Like, I made that jump into whatever. So that being said, yeah, having an XT5, and Very says, has a specific autofocus setting to detect birds, is attractive. And you get to still use all your lenses. Also, your XT4 does not become a shit camera. Like, just because there's new cameras out there doesn't mean your old cameras can't take good photos. And someone, I think, has using I saw someone had a Nikon D850.
Yeah.
Like, that's a little bit of a throwback. Is that the Will guy? Yeah. And I use less and less, right? Of course, because you have a Z8.
Yeah. The Z8 is what I'm looking at. That's the one that Sony versus Nikon seems to be what's most popular in the wildlife photography game. The Z8 is the one that a lot of people like for Nikon, and then it's the, what is it, the A7R5? Is that the latest Sony?
A7R A9? No, I'm thinking of like
The
the higher level.
A9's like the super expensive one, but
No, I think it's R5. I was using the A7
or
R5
the
on my
A75, not R5. Yeah,
A7
A75.
V. I was using the A7 R5 on horseback.
Mm-mm.
And I sent you that bird photo of that falcon. Was it a falcon? Eagle? I don't know.
Yes,
I sent
the
you that bird
Falcon or
photo
whatever that was. Yeah.
on that 70 to 200 A7 R5 at 47 megapixels. I was
Yeah.
able to crop in, and it was an F4. It looked
Mm-hmm.
pretty good,
Yeah.
and that was on horseback.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I guess like it gets down to like what colors you like, what system you want to be into, how much your budget is a big thing, and where you're going. And like Sam does, you can buy stuff and return it.
Dude, what does Sam? Speaking of
Dude,
birds, I see a bird right
dude.
here. Where does Sam sell his stuff? Because I know he's always swapping, and I've never done that because I
He
feel like I'm taking such a huge loss if I'm like trying to sell it on like one of
we
those like K.coms or whatever.
we can't talk about this because we'll see if he actually watches this episode this deep in this 35 minutes
Yeah.
in. But I'm fairly certain he just returns it back to whom he bought it from.
Yeah.
Because he usually does it within the days and gets like almost a full like money back sort of situation. I think there's one time where one camera he didn't make it in time, and with the Leica store will actually buy back stuff at a pretty
Mhm.
decent price. It's not great, but and the other stuff, yeah, I think he usually just goes back to where he bought it from because he decides within the 30 or 90 days of whatever it is, and he
Yeah.
takes very, very good care of his equipment
Yeah.
most of the time.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah.
so there's a thought where you could do that, buy it at Sammy's or buy it somewhere, and then spend a week taking very good care of it, and then make a decision.
Yeah. I mean, like the Fuji X-T5 is like, I mean, I could even get a used one for around $1,500 versus like the Nikon Z8 or the Sony A7R5. It's like that's $3,500. That's like a much heavier investment.
Right, but again, you can return it, right? And then to someone's point, the renting is an option. Sam and I do that all the time. But Phil has a very good argument about that as like if you're going to spend that much money renting something that could go towards your thing.
Well,
and again,
I looked at that, and there's the lensrentals.com or whatever it is. It used to be Borrow Lenses. They have a program that Sam mentioned where you can, it's like rent to own, which in my mind makes sense because I looked up like renting a Z8 plus the lens that I want would be like $500 for a week. And I'm like, $500, that's like a third of the price of an X-T5.
Yeah.
So like
also ShareGrid, you could rent from ShareGrid for probably pretty cheap.
Oh, I haven't looked at ShareGrid.
ShareGrid does more video production stuff, but like they've got still stuff that you could rent. This is the problem that we've seen in like how long have we been doing online courses and stuff? Like how much money should you be spending on upgrading a camera? Should you upgrade a camera? What camera should I buy? What system should I get into? Like there's really no answer.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what you're doing.
Keep talking. Don't mind me. It's so hot here in LA and my air conditioning just kicked on, but I have to open the vent. So
it's hot
as you were.
Where Phil lived. Oh my gosh, are you gonna give me the whole screen? Now you guys see my whole
Sorry.
Thanks a lot. We talked about this. I was like, I only need to clean this area right here. And now you see like my equipment and my gear over there. All right, you guys had questions. What are the questions? Thanks a lot, Phil.
Okay. Now I'm on the wrong side of the screen though.
That's all right, as long as you get there you go.
There we go.
Wow, your room's so empty.
Yeah, it's like
regarding your real estate photography for us, is there anything you wish you could include but didn't?
That is a good question. You know what I want to update, and since there's a couple people on here, I would love to, comment. Ideally, send me. I mean, you could comment here, but just if you're in the Photography and Friends Plus community, if you could message me there or post something there, that would be super helpful so I can remember. I think there's just been a lot of changes with AI generating stuff in an image. So it was barely coming out when I created that course about how you can like use Photoshop to add furniture into your photo. I think that's what you do now with real estate photography is you can just virtually add whatever type of furniture or stuff that you want in your images. So that's something I would want to update that course with. And I got a lot of people asking about video, because it's very common for a real estate photographer to have to also do
Ugh.
the video, 360 videos, 360 virtual walkthroughs, all of that kind of stuff. So
I did when I was in Nashville. I did a bunch of real estate videos with a little Osmo camera, like walking through
yeah,
and editing them into reels.
yeah.
Not my favorite thing.
No more video. I hate making videos. Yeah, we did have a question. If we didn't get to a question that you posted in the chat, feel free to pop it in there
Ask me again if I
again.
missed it.
A couple other comments though, just about the cameras for me. I know I've heard about the OM system as well. That's like Olympus's camera system.
Big crop sensor right there, like
it's micro four thirds. So, but it's very geared towards wildlife photography, bird photography. There's also this crazy, what's that one? It's like this crazy zoom lens. I forget what camera it is, but it's like, I gotta shout out this documentary that I watched about birding. Will, you should watch this. It's a
it's so deep every time we talk. You've gone to another
the YouTube
level.
algorithm sent me like the perfect video.
I would love to open up. Can you share your YouTube screen and just see how many bird videos are popping up on like bird photography?
No, there's gonna be other embarrassing stuff there, so I won't do that. But I will. I posted Listers, which is an extreme bird watching documentary about these two brothers who like. Okay, this is gonna get really nerdy for a second, but it's called A Big Year, where you spend the whole year trying to find as many birds as you can, and like the record is like 755 or something.
What? Like different types of birds?
Different types of birds, yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's this really it's blowing up on YouTube. They put it out not that long ago, and it has almost 1 million views right now. But it's just this guy. It's like his third video that he's ever posted. It's so good. But it's
great.
Like
now my algorithm's gonna look like bird
it's
watching.
It's kind of like yeah. It's not a mockumentary, but it's kind of like a mockumentary style of filming and interviews.
Look, someone's watched it. Listers is awesome. I love it.
Yeah, no, it is so well. Of course, Will did. Will with the bird photo and his icon
with the Nikons.
But anyways, I don't even know where I was going with that. Oh, but there's this camera that he has in there, and all these bird watchers have. It's like some like crazy like 5,000 zoom, like not like a fixed like old hybrid type camera. That is digital? Very popular. Yeah. Anyways, where were we?
Phil, you have a good problem. I like it.
Dude, it's like an addiction. I'll be walking outside and then I'll hear a bird and then I'll get my app out and it'll tell me what bird it is, and I'm like, oh, I don't have that bird.
Nikon
chase it.
P100.
Yes, Nikon P100 or 1000. Is it 1000?
Probably 1000. Oh, those are like Coolpix cameras.
Yeah, it's like the most epic Coolpix camera that you can imagine. 125 times zoom.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
60.
That's
yeah,
not
like 300.
I feel like that's a perfect camera for someone who's like into birding, for like just wanting to like look at do bird watching, but they also kind of want to get into photography. But like for me, I'm looking for something that's maybe a little bit more professional.
Did we just turn into a bird watching photo channel?
This is the problem, dude. I'm like in the Photography and Friends Plus community, and I see all the people posting bird photos, and I'm like,
oh, no.
Maybe I should just create like a bird photography space.
You should do like a separate, like a shoot off, like photo and birds or something, or like friends and birds or something like that. Birds are
photo birds.
Real
photo birds. Photo birds sounds like a good photo bird nickname for like our mascot, like who we are.
You're a photo bird. Phil the photo bird.
Anyways, okay, so on the live Q&A page on Photography and Friends Plus, raise your hand in the comment if you are not a member of Photography Friends, because I'm just curious. I'm assuming like most people have become members who are here, but if you're not, raise your hand. But let's see. Let me open up this question. All right. The question from Very, who is watching here too, is there a photo or a video that we are most proud of? And then also another question is, do we ever look at our old photos that maybe you did not like before and realize they were actually really good?
Sure.
Or the other way around? Yeah. You have an answer to either of those questions?
Slowly raise his hand. Yeah. I would say yes to both of those things. There are specific photos that I am like proud of. Actually, I can't spin the camera around, but I have the ones that I am actually very proud of. I've printed and put up in my apartment and my parents' home, back at their place. Those are the ones I like take the time to print, and most of those are like a lot of surf stuff. There's some stuff from the ranch. There's this protest one that from the BLM protest in 2020. I think you remember seeing that one, Phil.
Yeah.
And then like outside of that, like if you were to walk through Phil's house and you see the photos of his family that I took in his wedding, I get very, very proud of wedding photos and family photos that my friends choose
Oh my
to
gosh.
put. Go look at my apartment.
Oh my gosh.
To look up at God damn it, Phil. To look up when you have photos that you've taken of your friends in their weddings and you put them in their homes and you see them, it's that is rewarding. And I have looked at old photos and that I've been like, oh wait, that is like a good photo, especially if I like re-edit some other stuff too.
What I was trying to do was I was trying to open up. There's a way to show my camera on this live stream. Let me try this because I'm going to show you guys a couple of my favorite photos that I've ever taken. Oh, no,
that's your phone.
My camera. That's my phone, but that's not my camera.
Looks like your finger.
Nope.
We're new here. What can you expect from a bunch of hide the bong? Yeah.
God dang it. Anyways, I that's just not gonna work. But I think my favorite photos are always the ones that are like personal to me. Like they bring back the best memories of. There's a couple of like my kids when they were born, or just a couple photos that I've taken on vacations that just bring me back to those memories. And that's always been what I take photographs the most of. But I also like, it's kind of hard for you guys to see. It's a little dark, but I have these few photos printed on my wall behind me. There's a couple more, and I feel like over time I've really like come to like, this is, if I don't know if other people think this if they look at my photos, but like if I look at my photos, these are the ones that represent my style of photography the most. Like this sort of very soft focus, soft colors, nature, wildlife, like colorful palettes, just like detail, like close-up shots, lots of macro shots. Like those are ones that I'm like very proud of. And I look at them like, oh yeah, that's what exemplifies me as a photographer. I mean, in videos, there's like a lot of videos that I'm proud of. From like Photo Dash being like something I'm most excited about, and just in terms of like content wise, super excited about. But then like our Anthony Carbajal documentary that we did over 10 years ago, and that's like my favorite short documentary that I've ever made. So yeah, and then in terms of like looking at old photos and seeing if they're good or not, like one, I think everyone can scroll up to their oldest or down to their oldest Instagram photos and be like, why would I post that?
Yeah.
What filter did I add to this? Why are the blacks so crushed? But So there's a lot that I think aren't as good as I thought they were at the time. Even ones like I remember like at LMU, there's like a photo from where we went to school. There's a photo that I won like a little contest for like study abroad best photo of the year or whatever. And there's this like photo that like I made it so contrasty, and I look back and I'm like, wow, that photo was actually not that good. But at the same time, like when I was on Instagram, which I'm not posting right now, like a year or two ago, I went through all of my old photos and I pulled out a lot of my photos that I really liked that I never had posted, and then reposted them as like a series and tried to like write more of like a story of like where these photos came from. And it was kind of a cool way to repurpose old photos that I liked that I've taken.
That's smart. Yeah, I mean, I think going back and looking at old photos is like something you could re-edit too. I feel like as you guys get better in editing and in post, something to think about is like revisiting those photos and using your new tricks that you have in editing. I think that's why I have a lot of raws, because I'm always scared that I want to go back and like re-edit stuff.
Yeah.
So
no, that's so true. And like our styles change like over time in terms like it's similar like with like the way that
we evolve as an artist.
Changed the way I boost colors or contrast in photos or whatever. But I see a couple people are not members of Photography and Friends. This is like the best place to come hang out with us, and you can join. It's totally free. We've got all kinds of spaces here. Oh, speaking of birds, that looks like a Cooper's hawk or something like that. Oh, dude, I'm right. Cooper's hawk right there.
Cooper's hawk there.
See, look at we don't want this to just turn into the bird photography.
It's still bird photography.
But look at how many birds are posted.
Yeah. Are you sure it's not just you?
No, these are not my photos. You can't.
Remember when I used to love wildlife photography?
No, you never have liked wildlife photography, but I thought you were like gonna get into it going up to NorCal. But anyways, join Photography and Friends. We got a few more minutes, and I want to post if you have questions, post. But we didn't really dive that deep into a couple things I wanted to ask you about your ranch job. How it was kind of up to you to set the packages for families in terms of like prints versus like what were I know you mentioned kind of like the options for like, but I'm a family coming to this and hey, there's a photographer. How did you pitch yourself to them?
So basically, like, we have an orientation night, which is on Saturday nights, and you learn how the like basics of how you should be acting around a horse and all those sort of things and how it functions daily. And so at that, our head wrangler person would introduce all of us. So they'd introduce me as a wrangler, and then I'd just be like, hey, I'm Will. I'm here to take photos of you guys. There's a QR code. You can go and you can purchase downloads for $20 download, or you can get packages. There's also prints that you can purchase through the website that'll be mailed to you home, right? Which a lot of people actually did that. And then on the other side, there was like, while you're here and you're at this beautiful ranch, we can do family portraits. I charge $300 for a family photo session. And that usually comes with at least 15 to 20 photos, probably more if you have a bigger family. And sometimes $300, and they would do like a family of like 16, right? And so then I would have to whittle them down, and then I would do separate families and just kind of crank those out. I would use a different photography system than I would on horseback. And then if they wanted to be on horses, I would charge them $20 a horse because I needed help with getting them on horseback out into a field. Yeah. And so, yeah. So it just, I don't know. It just depended. $300 felt like a good place for that kind of crowd. I think depending on where you're at, you can go up or down.
So were you making most of your money from that versus like people after the fact finding the website, the photos on your website?
If you were to look at it in 1 week, I would say like there'd be a week where I'd have like three or four family photo sessions, which obviously is like a little bit less or more than other things. But over the time of the summer, the online prints caught up. So I'd say they're about even over 3 months, but not weekly, if that makes any sense.
And the online prints, which are now, it's like all loading.
go.
I don't know what was happening before, but I can like open up these different albums, and this is hosted with Zenfolio.
Zenfolio,
And I saw
which
like
is their classic version. They have a new version which I haven't ported anything over to because I'm scared.
okay,
And I have this system already in place working pretty well. And you can
Uh-huh.
see, you can pick out what you want there as far as like, you know, images if you want to print, or if you want to download it, it gives you the price there right away and the photos.
And you can
Wow, look,
customize all of this stuff, like the packages, like how many, and then it automatically. Oh, I see. You do have an unlimited downloads option.
I
That's
do,
cool.
because someone was like, I'm going to literally purchase every photo. Is there an unlimited version of that? And I was like, sure. And then they never did it. But there is like the ability to do that. You could
Yeah,
get unlimited photos, because I took a lot of photos. You know, I'm riding with them every day. Like there's a lot.
yeah. It's a
There's a
lot of
lot.
Well, that's how I feel like when we initially talked about your project, I was kind of like, yeah, I feel like as a family, I would want the option to just be able to buy all the
Yeah.
photos of where me or my kids end up in that photo. So I wonder if that option, if you had it available in the beginning, would have been purchased more often or not.
Maybe. I think it's funny because I did learn a lot from it. And if I were to go back next summer, which is a high potential, I have a lot of things that I've learned that I want to do differently.
Uh-huh.
Especially from a selling and business point. I think from a technical and photographic point, like I pretty much nailed how to do it from horseback and on the ground. I do think I have a light leak in my A7, which is a bummer because I was pretty rough on that camera.
Mm.
The old photographer that was there gave me a custom bag that went on my saddle horn that I could click in the camera to. It was really great.
Oh, that's cool.
But I got banged up quite a bit.
So you said you weren't selling a lot of prints, but were you meaning that like prints
I was
versus
mean-
digital, or just
Yeah, so of the three pillars, the prints and the digital action photos, the prints would sell a decent amount. Like people ordered a lot of 4x6s and 8x10s, especially if you were like over 45.
yeah.
The older generations like the physical print, which makes sense. I would too. But the actual third pillar that I had was trying to sell artistic prints. And if you click on that link, there is one that is just art prints. And then at the actual ranch, I had physical prints already made and framed hanging. Yeah.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
some of those.
Oh, yeah.
And-
They're awesome.
And some of those were printed and on the wall there to purchase, but they were expensive and they were big and they were framed.
Yeah.
And so I think I need to revise my business on that. I need to like print out a bunch of 8x10s that are just in plastic sheets that they can just buy
Yeah.
and walk away with, or I
Yeah.
need to advertise those better, or they need to be displayed better. I don't know. But those are all photos taken at the same ranch that you could purchase and hang in like your room, you know?
That's super cool. If anyone's watching this and has questions about it, like you can post a comment on this video or onto the next live Q&A's page, because I think there might be some questions. I mean, I'm curious more about like the hosting, the cost to do that and all that. But I think we are reaching our time, and I don't see any other questions here live. But again, if you are not a member, you can join Photography and Friends for free. Just go to photographyandfriends.com and join the community. And then you can see all of our upcoming events. Tomorrow, I'm coming in live and I'm doing what I'm doing now, frame by frame, my weekly photo reviews for the previous week's challenge, which is another reason to join Photography and Friends. But if you just click on any of these events and then comment on it, that's where we'll see some questions. But tomorrow I will be reviewing the shallow depth of field photos from last week. This week is the symmetry photo challenge, so you can post your photos here. Lots of great feedback from all of our members, and then next week I will be going over those in frame by frame. And Will and I and Sam should be back in a couple weeks. The second, maybe a little bit longer. It's the second Wednesday of October.
Is that the 8th?
Probably, because that sounds like
Yeah,
it would be the
That's
second.
the one.
Yep, second Wednesday. So
Down. I like doing
cool. Well, everyone here tuning in live, thanks for being here live. Really appreciate it. And as always, leave those reviews for the class. That really helps us.
Sure
Join
does.
our other classes. We got them all linked in the Photography and Friends page. And we hope to see you back next time. Will?
Good
Talk
seeing you.
later. All right.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
My mouse. I'm using my Wi-Fi mouse this time.
Oh God.
No,
I forgot about that.
no cats. I can end
Go
this
back and watch
broadcast
Live
without
Live.
just like turning off the electricity for my house.
It's so
All
good.
right. See y'all. Bye.